Hey guys, welcome back to Spire. Today we'll talk about 4 of the most disgusting Dr. Pimple Popper moments ever. Let's head into it. Number 4. Icing from a cyst. None of Dr. Pimple Popper's videos are for the weak, but her latest may have just the perfect combination of ooze and snipping to make even the most loyal of popaholics cringe a little. In one of her most recent Instagram videos, Dr. Pimple Popper is tasked with popping a cyst that's got more to it than meets the eye. What seems like a mid-sized pop turns into an ooze fest of icing, with one massive sac removal at the end. Lee begins the procedure as she typically does, by creating an incision over the top of the bump. Carefully, she uses both hands and begins to squeeze the contents of the cyst free. Immediately, icing begins to spill out in spirals, but this is not a one and done situation. Lee has to go back in a second time to free more of the cyst's insides. Once she's removed all she can of the filling, Lee goes back and begins to pry the sac out of the opening she created earlier. According to the comments on the video, this massive removal is fans' favorite part of the video. Number 3. Blackheads filled with pecan pie goo.
That was a set. Oh, unless you got something you're telling like you're having an affair with somebody. No. You watch?
In a new Instagram video, Dr. Pimple Popper pops several satisfying blackheads from 4 different patients. These pops are both ooey and gooey, just like the filling in a delectable pecan pie. In the first clip, Dr. Lee uses a blade to nick a blackhead on the patient's arm, giving the compacted contents a way to escape. The famed dermatologist then presses down on the growth with a comb-down extractor, forcing out the gooey growth. In the next clip, Dr. Lee simply uses a blade to lift out a sticky growth stuck in a patient's earlobe. The skilled derm almost makes this one look too easy. The third removal shows Dr. Lee wiggling out a particularly lengthy nose blackhead, with the final clip shows the dermatologist dragging out a lightly colored specimen on what appears to be a patient's torso. Beauties, I tell ya, one person said of the compilation. And seriously, the gunk that comes out of these growths looks alarmingly similar to pecan pie goo. A blackhead is a single pore filled with dead skin and oil, which forms a black head when exposed to air. The white portion of the blackhead, which you can see in the video, is actually the same material as the black cap, only this material hasn't been oxidized to create a black coloring. Number 2. A pair of tweezers.
You okay? Am I hurting you?
No more than my wife does.
Oh no, really? It should not hurt you though.
In her latest Instagram video, Dr. Pimple Popper is up to her usual pops with a fresh blackhead extraction, while many of her juiciest moments come from squeezing these plugged hair follicles and releasing their sebum and dead skin. Her latest blemish puts up a fight, according to the doctor. However, this is Dr. Pimple Popper, and she always comes out victorious in a fight. The video begins with Lee using her trusty comb-down extractor, pressing deeply into the skin in order to free the top of the blackhead. This dried bit of blemish, however, doesn't want to move, and Lee has to grab a scalpel. Carefully, she opens up the plug follicle a bit more before going back into it. She's able to free a bit more of the gunk, but it's just not enough. Only a bit of the head comes out. To get the job done, Lee brings back in the old tools, grabbing a pair of tweezers and going on what one Instagram user calls a fish and dig. Inserting the metal tool into the incision, Lee is able to fish through and catch this blackhead. Number 1. A blackhead right next to a man's eye.
I'm out on you too, so you just need one of these little metal thingies, as we call them, comedone extractor. Oh, sorry, I pushed on you. I heard there.
Dr. Pimple Popper is back with some good old-fashioned blackhead pops in her latest Instagram video. While these pops may be commonplace among her videos, it doesn't make them any less satisfying. This one, however, may be more cringeworthy than normal. It's not because of the gooey insides of the blackheads, although that's good too. It's because this pop is so close to her patient's eye that it'll send shivers down your back just to see it. Dr. Lee begins the video with perhaps the most frightening part, cutting open the blackhead. The bump sits on the side of the bridge of the man's nose, right next to his eye. Tell me that a scalpel coming towards your eye will not have you trying to flee from her table immediately. Her patient doesn't run though, and Lee gets her trusty extraction tool and begins pressing into the blackhead until a spiraling combination of oil and dead skin begins to spill forth. Next, she moves on to the patient's temple, where she finds more blackheads to remove. While these aren't nearly as terrifying as the one next to his nose, they're just oozily fun to watch. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.